So just hit record. So um,
Got it.
yeah, so thanks, Alan, for your time to do this. Just feel free to for people who don't know you, just introduce yourself and who you are and what you do and what your background is.
Yeah, my name is Alan Tipp, and I'm an industrial designer, product designer, and I've been designing sunglasses for the last 20 some years. Worked with some international brands and done a lot of development and design overseas. But I live here in Omaha, Nebraska, right in the Midwest.
Awesome, mate. So yeah, take me through like where you were at in your business model when you first came into the program, and where you feel like the gray areas or the areas you knew you wanted to move towards closing, I suppose.
I think in my business, I knew I was kind of getting into this cycle of just not thinking about the next client and only worrying about the client I had, which obviously you're just kind of chasing your tail in that aspect. So I didn't find that there was any way to really grow. So kind of thinking through the process, the daily systems that you put in place to help you navigate really a roadmap, I guess, if you will, of how you're going to continue to grow your business.
Got it. And like, how have you enjoyed your experience in Profitable Designer so far? So like what facet or component of how the program's structured or the content that we go through do you feel like you've kind of connected to or resonated the most with?
I think I've been I just think the honesty of what you tout that this program is about rang true in the very first time I had a phone call with you. And I was like, oh, I saw an ad on Instagram, I think. I was scrolling. It's like, does this meme kind of capture how you feel? And I was like, yep. And that was it. And we booked a call. And I was surprised that actually you were the one on the other end of the line. I was like, I don't know why, but I think most of us feel like if you're running a business like this and that you had other people managing and teaching for you, and like, I just thought it was going to be a number, and that's never how I felt. I felt like you feel very much connected one-on-one, whether it's scheduling phone calls, daily check-ins, just check-ins on a quick text, just very good about creating this idea of community and support. So I never felt like it was like, hey, pay this fee and then you're on your own. I felt like there was just always been a really good support system in place, and that's credit to you.
Nice, man. Yeah, thanks for the feedback. I mean, it's kind of it's built on the kind of the same mantra that we have in the program, though. It's like what matters more than anything is that the customer experiences goes well beyond people's expectations, because that makes everything so much easier to market and sell. Is if the customer's so happy that they're willing to shoot a silly video testimonial, I suppose.
Yeah. Right.
So take me through, like, what do you feel like's been the biggest aha moment for you going through the program?
I think the way in which I frame up this idea of selling what I thought was the right idea of selling design services to this idea of productizing in order to monetize. Like I've always had the components there, but I've never packaged them in a way that was like, here's the raw ingredient, but if I add this, this, and this, that's the atypical way I do business. Just a moniker for my name, but it is unlike everyone else who is just selling a service. And at the end of the day, that was the aha moment. That was like, yeah, why, if you're describing yourself, keeping your business name right here, atypical, as being different than everyone else, and you're doing it the same way as everyone else, it's kind of it's just not the most honest and direct. And I don't know how easy you can say it and frame it up after I started going through and figuring out what my offer was. which I think you'll realize I've agonized over and over, and I probably now analyze that way more than I should. But to me, it's important because I felt like the offer is the same no matter what project I'm working on. It's just a matter of how do I package those ingredients in a way that delivers the most desirable outcome for the client. So, and adds the most value. And that was the aha moment. That was like, yeah, well, I'm not doing that because I'm just tracking time and selling my service. And that's finite and it's not sustainable long term. It was just like, that's only so many hours in the day. And that wasn't going to create scale.
Got it. So like, take me through like that specifically, like take us through some of the results that thinking that way and that strategy of kind of shifting to more productizing has had on the business.
Yeah, I mean, I've had conversations with clients now since I've started this course, and I've used that same framework on how I pitch the project, and engage in the conversation, and it's resulted in, easily probably 7x what I was making on a project prior to that, and it was just a mind shift. So I could already credit the fact that the work's always been there. I don't think there was a shortcut for this idea that you still have to deliver great work, but I think the client now sees the value in everything else that they get that's going to get them to their goal. And so, I mean, so it resorted in projects, and then I started a little bit differently, trying to alter my strategy on how I reach out to people too, and how I clean up really my website and my social media handles and everything else that just wasn't. It was too. I still keep it personalized, but I keep it about the business and just enough to tease out what it is I do. And I think it's creating this credibility that wasn't there before. And it stripped it back to its basics. And now that I'm doing things on social media that are a little differently, in order to attract some clients, I don't know, it's working because I think they're seeing the clarity of the process. If that makes sense.
Totally. And like, yeah, that was nicely put. Like they're seeing the benefit that they would value out of what basically is your efforts. Whereas if we just say designer design services, well, they need their imagination to figure out what they're going to get out of it, I suppose.
Yeah, and I realized my website was a portfolio. It wasn't treated like a lead generation tool to book a call, to get the value, to truly understand what's the client's problem. I think I took a big assumption that there's value in all these beautiful things that I've designed in the past, and people just don't get it. They don't get it's not that they weren't beautiful things that I've designed, it's that they just don't care about the design process. They only care about their desired outcome and how do they get there. And all those other projects don't necessarily mean anything to them because that's not their company and it's not relevant to them. So this just feels like a way more tailored approach to deliver the most value.
Got it. And I mean, like, you're only still pretty new into the program and the process, but like, take me through like how this has changed the way that you look at the future of your business.
I think the discipline, which wasn't there. I think the idea of just really being as efficient and using your day as efficient as possible, kind of the idea that you talk about, kind of managing your day and getting your day straight. I've always worked for myself. I haven't always, but worked for myself for like the last 5 years. And prior to that, I'd still worked independently. I wasn't in an office setting, worked remotely. So I was never really distracted by water cooler conversation. I felt like I was already super efficient. And then if you look at, well, how efficient you really think you are, and you look at your time on your phone and how long do you spend on Instagram, how long are you scrolling, looking at other content rather than producing content? And so I kind of shifted that mentality and just started producing and not waiting for the next opportunity. And so in the short time I've been in the program, it was like, yeah, this idea that I never reached out to try and just kind of hope and pray method that people will find me through word of mouth, and they were, but that, after a couple of years in business, kind of your reach and your pool locally, it's just not there. And so if you're not doing anything and you're just sitting on your laurels, then I think everything's going to be, you're going to get the results you have always gotten. So that's kind of why I feel like this course was a swift kick in the pants about the honesty. And when you think about how you're spending your day, and how much better you can get at understanding your finances, not waiting to do your taxes until the last minute, guilty. But I'm still trying to, but that, just, it's, you just don't think about, as a business owner, it's just putting that mindset on as well. And that's the kind of discipline you need, in order to be successful.
Nice, mate. Well, yeah. Thank you for the answers to your questions, and thank you for your time. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty much it.